Good evening and welcome to our October 25th Board of Selectmen meeting. I ask you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And before we read the agenda and start our meeting, Mr. Swenson will be participating via a remote participation. And I just want to review our policy, Board of Selectmen policy number 48, which is our remote participation. A quick overrun. Our procedures are a member must inform the chair, and Mr. Swenson has, and we do have a physical quorum here. At the beginning of the meeting, the chair must announce who and the reason for remote participation is Mr. Swenson because of geographical constraints. And this remote participation will be noted in the minutes. Thank you, Mary. All votes tonight must be taken by roll call votes. And if we go into executive session, which we plan on doing, the member must state that no one else can hear the discussion. So, we're just going to do a quick test. Mrs. Swenson, can you hear us?
I can.
All right. Can anyone else hear Mr. Swenson?
Yes.
All right, sounds good. If any trouble arises at any time, please let us know. So with that, what are the board's wishes we'll first read the agenda. So we'll go over October 11th meeting minutes, then we'll move on to community relations, announcements, and open forums. We have one appointment under appointments and resignations. We have an appointment for a kitchen assistant. Under schedules appointments, we had two items. Our 6:45 appointment with the Glen Echo Association for a drawdown. We passed over tonight at the request of our conservation agent. Then we have a 7:30 appointment to go in executive session with water and sewer. Under new business, we have three items. Number one is Bay Path request for participation in collective bargaining process. Item number two under new business is a fuel efficient vehicle policy / Charlton anti-idling policy. Item number three is a selectmen meetings for November this year. Then we'll move on to old business, which we have no items at the time. Community reports, Board of Selectmen policy reviews, then our student select persons report, our town administrator's report, and then any other business unknown at the time of posting. And our next meeting will be determined tonight. So what are the board's wishes with our October 11th meeting
Through the chair,
Mr. McGrath.
I make a motion that we approve the October 11th meeting minutes as printed.
Second.
Thank you. A motion and a second. Any discussion? Because of remote participation, we'll do this by roll call vote. Mr. McGrath?
Aye.
Ms. Cooper?
Aye.
Mr. Singer?
Aye.
Mr. Swenson?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes. Thank you. We'll now move to announcements. Trick or Treat will be held on Monday, October 31st from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. The Charlton Christmas Concert and Tree Lighting Ceremony will be held Sunday, December 4th at 4:30 p.m. at the Charlton Town Common and Town Library. Real estate and personal property taxes are due November 1st. Trunk or Treat at 4 Dresser Hill Road will be held at Saturday, October 29th from 12 o'clock noon to 3 p.m. Trunks are needed, and anyone can join. Town clerk has announced that early voting will be held in Charlton. Today is the 25th, so you have a chance for tomorrow, October 26th, Thursday the 27th, Saturday the 29th, Monday the 31st of October, Tuesday the 1st of November, Wednesday the 2nd of November, Thursday the 3rd of November, and Friday the 4th of November. For more information, all times and dates will be located at townofcharlton.net on the community calendar. Easy Pass Transponder event. The Charlton Senior Center will be held on Thursday, November 3rd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. For those wishing to obtain an Easy Pass transponder, applicants must bring a vehicle registration, $20 credit / debit card or check, no cash please, to open an Easy Pass account and photo identification. The transponders are issue-free, and a $20 account will be used to pay charges for the Massachusetts Turnpike. While the event is targeted to assisting senior citizens with transitioning to the new tolling system, the event is open to the public for anyone wishing to purchase a transponder. If you have any questions, please call 508-248-2231. That's 508-248-2231. There'll be a Charlton Residents Open House for the proposed energy project in Charlton. The Northeast Energy Center, LLC, is inviting Charlton residents to an open house to introduce a proposed liquefied natural gas, LNG, project to the residents of Charlton. project representatives will be on hand to provide information about the project siting process, the natural gas industry, and liquid natural gas. The location will be in the Council on Aging / Senior Center at the Charlton Town Hall, 37 Main Street in the basement. The date will be November 7th, and it'll be from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Does anyone else have any other announcements? Is anyone here for open forum? And before you get into, make sure you please state your name for the record and your address.
Sure. Russ Jennings, 39 Hammond Hill Road, Charlton, Mass., representing 508 International.
And Amber Howard. 39 Hammond Hill
Yep.
Road, Charlton.
Go ahead and if you want to give me
Yeah.
a little intro.
So we've been organizing
Yeah, so make sure you speak right into the microphone.
a secret event with Todd Gerard, and that event is scheduled to happen this week. Unfortunately, Todd is not in, so we're coming to represent the event and ask for your permission to host it. The secret event is to announce new partners that are going to be working with us at 508 International. The new partners are a BMX team. They do trick riding and they do ramp jumps and things like that. They've been performing for 15 years or so, going around and doing anti-bullying campaigns with high schools and whatnot. So ultimately, we're hosting an event to announce them to the community, to give about a 45-minute performance, show what they're all about, have a little bit of music, and just fun gathering for the community. So we just want to present that to you and get permission to actually host the event.
And our charity partner for this event is the Skate Park Committee, Rebuild Charlton Skate Park. It really fits well together with this group, and we feel this will be a good opportunity for both groups to come together, raise some funding, bring some awareness to all the groups involved, and showcase a new partner coming into the space. These trick riders present shows around the state for anti-bullying messaging and things like that. So they're real good community partners. Fortunately, we brought John Perkins with us today to represent the rec. As you know, other members are unavailable tonight, so we thank John for coming tonight.
Thank you. One quick question: where will this event be held?
You want to let him in on that?
Sure. It's a secret.
It's like,
The event will be held behind the Charlton Library at
Yep.
6 o'clock on Friday.
how late is the library open on Friday?
Have you talked to the library? Do they know about it?
We have not.
We had some discussions with the chief of police, and the chief said that on Thursday, when we're originally shooting for Thursday, but with the rain, it forced us to move to Friday. Thursday is their late night. I believe Friday, they're open until 5. But that was going to be one of our first steps tomorrow, is checking with them. Naturally, we wanted to come to this board first and discuss it, so
Right. So you're looking to have this event this Friday.
that's correct.
Doesn't give us much time to review, especially it's a secret event.
Did the chief weigh in on, is he on board with it? I haven't had
100%.
conversation with him.
Yep.
One thing I would want the library's input to see if they're on board as well.
You could, if you approve of the fundraising for the skate park, you could approve it pending approval of the library, if you wanted to help them move forward. Is the group already scheduled to come for
Yes.
Friday?
Yep.
Just ask the chief to, since he's not here, just to email his approval.
And
Yeah,
pending
pending
the chief
approval.
and library? And then I could get the chief to send something to
Mhm.
you.
Did you notify the selectman's office at all before?
We
tonight?
did not, and again, we apologize. We've been really scrambling since Monday with, the absence of the person who was helping us on
Right.
the town side pull the event together. So unfortunately, we've just been, like I say, scrambling. So
Absolutely,
this
and
is-
and we appreciate this. This is some really good causes this is for, but just for planning purposes, it's, you know, and we know it's a secret, but letting us know more than a couple days before this event's being held and not asking all the major parties definitely, you know, makes us a little weary. So
Yep.
even you obviously know the speed of government, but at least let us know a week in advance so we can take a look at it.
We definitely understand that, and again, we apologize naturally. Things do come up, and sometimes in these situations, I think we learn the true value of the people who are working with us on the town level, and when they're not here, their places, they're missed.
Right.
So it's a very good indication to me as to the importance of the people who are in certain positions, and why we need them so much.
I will also say that I did have some, this makes sense now that I'm hearing what you're talking about. I did get some emails that had the heading secret event, and didn't quite know what it was, but I was CC'd on a couple of things. So,
Spam.
oh, and yeah.
No, and unfortunately,
What would be the board's wishes on this?
I make a motion that we approve the event pending the library's buy-in on it.
And also the
And
police
with
chief?
and with the comment, an email comment back from the chief.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Any discussion? Rick, do you have any discussion?
No, the only thing I'd add in is I mentioned this last time. I would like at some point before we go too far down the road to have the skateboard park committee come in and just sit with us and talk over some issues. I completely support it, but I worked on it last time. We got it going when I was on Recreation Commission, and there were some issues that came up that I just like to make sure the group's aware of and talk to them about possible remedies.
He's in the back of the room.
Given that maybe John Perkins would come up and talk about, because Mr. Chairman, I do know that they had some issues about whether or not they were gonna get the skate park going or
Right.
not. I know there's been a group that's been trying to raise money to revitalize it, so John could give us an update on that.
Yeah. So Mrs. Swenson, Mr. Perkins is about to speak. So if you want to address any questions that he might have, you might have.
Rick, when you said all you could hear was static, I was hoping you weren't at home. Anyway, yeah, the skate park group that had been doing the fundraising, it was kind of a grassroots group of people that wanted the skate park after the other one was taken down for the reasons that we're all pretty much aware of. And they've done a good job over the last year and a half, 2 years, and pretty much have joined Charlton Rec Friends and working together and gonna get this done. So the plan is to raise enough money to build it, which we think we're gonna be able to do, and maybe get something going by spring. That's the plan. There's different types of construction that we're gonna look at, and then check with Kurt. Todd's been doing a lot of background stuff as well. Like I said, the group that was, the original group that started getting this rolling again has done a great job. So we're hoping to capitalize on that, and Charlton Rec Friends get everybody going in the same direction. So the plan is to do something. We've talked with the chief, who's always been an advocate of it, basically because it gives those kids somewhere to go, so to speak. And I guess we're gonna try and address the issues that we had before and not make it as accessible in hiding spots as we had with the other one, Rick. So that's all in there. If there's anything else, obviously, that's always something we wanna know about, if
Right.
there's other things you're talking about.
Thank you, Mr. Perkins. Mr. Swenson, did you have any questions now? Do you want to pose them, Mr. Perkins? or
No,
would you like-
none specifically right now. I mean, John knows the problems that went on before every bit as well as I do.
Yep.
And, if he's working with the group and he's confident that they're addressing those issues, then I'm fine, and I'm all for it.
All right, thank you very much.
I have two comments.
Ms. Graver?
I'm having a moment to sit and think about this. Damage to the fields, will there be any? Where are you actually doing the bike tricking?
the plan is to set up they need roughly an 80 by 20 area on paved surface is ideal. So on the spot right next to the bleachers by the baseball field is actually where they're going to set up. It works well, the cemetery's closed after dark. And now that there's no conflict with the library, it should be very easy to keep everybody focused in that area and not really on the fields. So it's more of a paved surface event.
So if this, if I may,
Sure.
more, if this company goes around and does these types of shows, do they have insurance, and will they
Yes.
be providing the town an insurance indemnification?
Yep.
And also, just another follow-up question with that, will there be a detail during the time?
The chief said he didn't really see the need for it.
Yep.
That was one of our initial questions going to see him.
Okay.
So,
So John, will you be there, and as the rec committee being there, will you get the insurance and just make sure that that's done? In case
the-
Todd isn't available.
This is the first I heard of it today. I can't be there Friday. I kind of mess things up and move things around, so I get here today just so, try and make it go if it, whatever.
Russ, would you be able to get
Right.
the insurance
Yep.
form to me, to our
Yeah.
office ahead of
Yes.
time? Okay,
we can work on that. We have 2 days, so we should be able to do that.
all right, thank you.
All
And
right.
I would be satisfied and recommend approval.
Thank you, Ms. Graver. Any other discussion?
I would say if any of the select persons have concerns about past or potential issues down there, obviously, it'd be good to get them written down so everybody understands and
Absolutely.
address
And I
it.
just want to
And then-
reiterate for Mr. Swenson, if you didn't hear, that if there's any issues or concerns about skate park, past and future, make sure we have them written down, so.
And give them to the Recreation Commission.
So yeah. I would say, as far as Russ and his organization and Brett, they've been with the previous one, they were real supportive of and did a lot of stuff to help out and keep it running, and it just got to the point where it was not able to fix it any longer. And, this fundraiser is obviously going on, but there's also a 50/50 fundraiser, if anyone hasn't heard about it. And you can win up to, potential win up to 37.5 with a comma, not a decimal. And, also, I guess there was some talk about the sign that was approved last time that some of you may have questions or wanted to discuss from, so they wanted somebody from rec to come here on that. Is that-
If my memory serves correct, I think just to
Oh,
talk
so-
about the park in general, not the sign or the fundraising,
Okay, all right.
if that's correct. Okay.
So if I can just say for a minute, thank you, because it's residents and businesses like yours that help us in times of limited resources, that really help us to keep moving forward, especially in the areas of, providing social things and recreational things for the town, so thank you.
So in light of that, yeah, thank you, and hopefully this will be a success story like the playground. The people that know that playground was done with a lot of time, treasure, a lot of local help from different contractors. And there'll be a sign-up eventually that shows the people that put time and effort and money and everything else into it. And it's pretty close to completion. A little bit of landscaping hopefully in the spring. And, that goes without saying, the highway department really made the last couple pieces of it really come together, and they did a lot of work in between too, so. It's nice when everybody can work together and make some things happen for the better of the town.
Thank you, agreed. Any more comments or discussion? Just one final comment. Again, thank you for, this work. It does help make Toronto a better community. But I just want to echo, just please make sure we get more notice, even knowing a couple days before, if you email our office, so we have time to know about it and digest it. So,
We'll be sure to let you guys in on a secret early next time.
I hate being in the dark with secrets. So, seeing no more discussion, we'll move to a roll call vote. Mr. McGrath?
Aye.
Ms. Cooper?
Aye.
Mr. Singer?
Yep.
Mr. Swenson?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Is there anyone else here for open forum? Seeing none, we'll move on to our first appointment for a kitchen assistant. Ms. Craver?
Yes, sir. As you know, Bill Fontaine retired as our kitchen assistant. The advertisement was placed to fill his position. 4 applications were received and 3 interviews were held. The Council on Aging is recommending the appointment of Jennifer Trudeau for this position. Ms. Trudeau has worked as a banquet manager at a local country club for 8 years. She has experience cooking for a retired policeman's group, has numerous skills in kitchen management, food prep, and customer service. She is also Serve Safe certified and has excellent references, a positive Cory check, and they feel is the right person for the position. Her resume has been on your desk in the office for review. I would recommend the board make the appointment as requested. We had invited Mrs. Trudeau tonight's meeting, but due to a death in her family, she's not available to attend.
Thank you, Ms. Craver. What are the wishes of the board?
Through the chair.
Mr. McGrath?
I make a motion that we appoint Ms. Trudeau to the kitchen assistant.
Second.
Thank you. A motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll move to a roll call vote. Mr. McGrath?
Aye.
Ms. Cooper?
Aye.
Mr. Singer?
Yep.
Mr. Swenson?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Singer?
when we send notice to inform her for appointment, can we also just include the condolences?
Certainly.
Absolutely. Thank you for that suggestion, Mr. Singer. All right. We will now move on to new business. And item number 1 on new business is the Bay Path request for participation in collective bargaining process. Ms. Craver?
Attached is a letter from John LaFleche, the superintendent of Southern Worcester County Vocational Technical High School, known as Bay Path, stating that the district is about to enter into negotiations with their local units, representing the teachers, secretaries, and custodians. The Education Reform Act of 1993 contains language which provides that the chief executive officer, town administrator, or chairman of the Board of Selectmen participate in a process to choose a representative to represent the towns during the collective bargaining process. A meeting is scheduled for Monday, November 7th at 5 p.m. at Bay Path. We are asked to let them know who our representative will be. What is the board's wishes?
Thank you, Ms. Craver. What are the wishes of the board?
Are
I'm
either of
looking
you
for guidance.
available? So,
Yeah.
are you available,
On-
Mr. Chairman?
on this
And would
Monday?
you want to attend? And if not, then I would be the person that you would send.
On
It's
this,
either or.
on the 7th, I would feel more comfortable you being there. I have prior commitments for that date. Is that something you feel you can handle with your schedule?
Be fine to do.
Perfect.
So could we, I would entertain a motion.
Through the chair.
Mr. McGrath?
I make a motion that we appoint Ms. Craver to participate in the Bay Path collective bargaining process.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion?
Almost hung up.
Oh, do we still have Mr. Swenson?
No, I'm good.
Okay, awesome. We'll now move to.
Sorry, Rick, I grabbed my phone. I was gonna put it into the,
I was wondering what that
the
rattling
address.
noises were.
Thought I lost you for a second. Seeing no discussion on the motion, we'll move to a roll call vote. Mr. McGrath?
Aye.
Ms. Cooper?
Aye.
Mr. Singer?
Yep, I can't talk. Yep.
Aye. And Mr. Swenson?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Craver. We'll now move on to item number 2 under new business, a fuel efficiency vehicle policy and Charlton anti-idling policy. Ms. Craver?
Yes, sir. As you're aware, special town meeting voted to approve the stretch code, energy code. We are on our way to receiving our green communities designation. A requirement of the designation is to approve the attached 2 policies, fuel efficient vehicle policy and Charlton anti-idling policy. The fuel efficient vehicle policy states that in an effort to reduce the town's fuel consumption and energy costs, the Board of Selectmen would adopt the policy to purchase only fuel-efficient vehicles whenever such vehicles are commercially available and practical. We also need to provide an updated vehicle inventory list to the Green Communities Division on a yearly basis. The Charlton anti-idling policy applies to municipal and school vehicles operated by or within the town of Charlton. The objectives are to eliminate unnecessary idling of vehicles in order to reduce the community's exposure to exhaust from gasoline and diesel engines, and to educate and inform municipal employees and residents about the health and environmental effects of gasoline and diesel exhaust. We need to cite specific actions the board will take to implement this policy. I would recommend posting of signs in public areas, educating municipal employees and residents, and establishing the best management practices for municipal vehicle operations. For information, Bay Path Vocational has approved these policies as well, and we are including them in our Green Communities designation.
Thank you, Ms. Craver. What are the wishes of the board for the 2 policies?
you're doing them separately.
Yeah, let's handle the fuel efficiency policy first.
Through the chair.
Mr. McGrath?
I make a motion that we approve the fuel-efficient vehicle policy for the Green Communities Act.
Second for discussion.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. I will open up discussion.
Well, I'm all for it. My only concern is that sometimes I would want to ensure that just because a fuel-efficient vehicle is available, it's also the best choice. You know, for example, I can't see necessarily an ambulance or something that has to respond very quickly.
Right, and
You know.
and just to address that, ambulance, emergency response vehicles, and heavy equipment are exempt from this. Any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to a roll call vote to accept, to approve the fuel-efficient vehicle policy as presented to us. Mr. McGrath?
Aye.
Ms. Cooper?
Aye.
Mr. Singer?
Yep.
Mr. Swenson?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes. Thank you. We'll now entertain the board's wishes for the Charlton anti-idling policy.
Through the chair.
Mr. McGrath?
I make a motion that we approve the Charlton anti-idling policy for the Green Communities Act.
Second for discussion.
Thank you. A motion and a second. We'll open discussion.
Just again, so this also exempts emergency response vehicles? Because I know police have AEDs and Narcan, and they have to stay at room temperature, so they can't
Correct.
let those vehicles get cold.
This is, we're practical.
So if we do any kind of, I appreciate that, but if we do any kind of written policy, I'd like it to be right in there, the exemption for emergency vehicles, ambulances, and police cruisers,
Mhm.
because those particular items anyway, they can't get cold. So as long as as long as that's in there, that they're exempt, and if we do any written policy, they're in there as exempt.
It's in the policy. I'm just looking at it now. We're all set.
Right. Thank you. Is there any other discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll move to a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion to accept the Charlton anti-idling policy, we'll move to the roll call vote. Mr. McGrath?
Aye.
Ms. Cooper?
Aye.
Mr. Singer?
Yep.
Mr. Swenson?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes. Thank you. We will now, we are well on our way to becoming a green community, even more. So now we'll move to item number 3 under new business, selecting our selectmen meetings for November. Ms. Craver?
The board's, yes, sir, the board's regular meetings for November 2016 would be Tuesday, November 8th, and Tuesday, November 22nd. November 8th is the presidential election, and the board has in the past not held meetings on election day. The board could hold just one meeting in November, and if necessary, we could set up a workshop if needed. What is the board's wishes?
Ms. Craver, what are the wishes of the board?
Through the chair, I make a motion that we hold only one meeting, Tuesday, November 22nd, 2016. And if it becomes needed, that we do a workshop on some other date.
Yep. Thank you
Second.
very much. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? And of course, we can set up as many workshops as needed as the need arises. Seeing no discussion on the motion, we'll move to a roll call vote. Mr. McGrath?
Aye.
Ms. Cooper?
Aye.
Mr. Singer?
Yes.
Mr. Swenson?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes. Thank you very much. So then our next regularly scheduled Board of Selectmen meeting will be November 22nd. All right, we have no items under new business. Does anyone have any committee reports or Board of Selectmen policy reviews? Seeing none, we'll move to our student select person report. Ms. Chupka?
Yes, Student Council hosted the homecoming dance called Starstruck on Saturday, October 15th. The winter sports registration began the 17th of October, and any student can register. The PSATs were held on the 19th of October. All sophomores were required to take them, and juniors who signed up also took them. The Shepherd Hill Booster Club had their sign party at Point Breeze in Webster. Student Council hosts the annual blood drive on November 1st, and the students' first term report cards are issued on November 4th.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions for our student select person? I do appreciate including these in our agenda packets. That was nice to see. So whoever did that, thank you. All right, seeing no questions, comments, we'll move on to town administrator's report. Ms. Craver?
Yes, sir. At the board's last meeting, you approved the winter wash sand bid. We were asked to find out how much sand we go through in a winter and have been advised by the highway superintendent that we average about 5,115 tons of washed sand per year over the last 5 years. Regarding tax possession auction, the town treasurer Arsenault has stated that 13 tax possessions were sold on October 6th through the Zecos Group auction for $330,500. They have collected $50,000 in deposits and have a closing date of November 7th for the remaining accounts. As you know, also, we spent about $100,000 of that at town meeting on capital. Chapter 285 of the Acts of 2016, at the special town meeting held on October 20th in 2015, voters approved Article 8, the municipal lien authority for outstanding water bills. This article allowed the Board of Selectmen to file with the General Court a petition for special legislation in the form of an act relative to the designation of certain charges and fees in the town of Charlton for water services pursuant to the intermunicipal agreement shall be deemed to be municipal charges or local charges and fees of the town of Charlton. I'm happy to report that the Senate and House of Representatives in the General Court have approved this request, and it is law. So now we are able to, any outstanding water fees in the town of Charlton, even though it is by the town of Southbridge bill, we will be able to lien. And as you know, in the IMA, we are responsible to pay for it anyway.
Thank you, Ms. Greer, for that good news. Does anyone have any questions for the town administrator? Your report tripled in length from your last one. I'm just saying. All right, thank you, though. All right, is there any other business that was unknown at the time of posting? Seeing none, our next regular selectmen's meeting will be on November 22nd. Please make sure on November 8th you get out the vote or come to our convenient early voting at the town hall. So I will entertain the board's wishes of entering executive session.
Through the chair.
Mr. McGrath.
I make a motion that we enter into the executive session under Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, Number 6, to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real estate regarding the Water IMA strategic process. If the chair declares an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the public body.
Second.
Thank you. A motion and a second, and the chair does declare that detrimental effect may, that the open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiation position of the public body. Since we do have remote participation, Mr. Swenson, can you please state that you are alone and no one can hear this this upcoming discussion?
I do state that.
Thank you. All right. Any further discussion on the motion? All right. Seeing none, we'll move to a roll call vote. Mr. McGrath.
Aye.
Ms. Cooper.
Aye.
Mr. Singer. Mr. Swenson.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes. We are now in executive session, and we will adjourn executive session only for the purpose of adjournment of our regular meeting. Once again, our next meeting is November 22nd, and the next time you should be voting is November 8th or earlier. Thank you, have a good night, and have a good, safe Halloween.